Hi everybody, my name's Alison, the online piano tutor. Welcome to lesson 6. I'm just going to quickly recap what we did in lesson 5. I have to apologise, there's a guy I think who's cutting his hedge out the window, so please excuse the sound of the hedge cutting in the background. So just to recap from lesson 5, we actually started to work on 2 staves. So we were doing Love Me Tender and Mary's Boy Child. So we're going to be looking at pages 36 and 37, and we're going to be playing I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing and Streets of London. Now these two are going to be exactly the same concept as Love Me Tender and Mary's Boy Child. However, there's just something else that they've added in there, which is called phrase marks. So it pretty well covers it in the book, but it just says here that the curved lines over or under the notes are called phrase marks or slurs. Phrase marks are not to be confused with ties. Just to quickly show you, back in White Rose of Athens, we had a tie here. So we played this D, held it for 4 beats, carried on holding for this D. We didn't hit this note again, but we just held it for a further 4 beats. So in fact, in total, we held this D for 8 beats. Now to quickly explain a phrase mark to you, I would describe a phrase mark as being perhaps a sentence. So as you would if you were writing a story or a book or something. So you would play whatever notes are within that phrase mark as if they were one sentence, all joined up. So if you were speaking it, you take a breath, say your section, and then sort of breathe again if you like. I'll demonstrate it for you on the piano so you can understand what that's all about. Okay, so I've just positioned my hands now with both thumbs on middle C, and I'm just going to play I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. So if you follow on your book, I'll play it for you. Now as you can see, the first line starts from the first note A, which starts with the word I'd, and then it ends a little bit further along towards the end of that line on D, where the word says love. So I'm going to try and play that as smoothly as I can, joining those notes together. So it's almost like part of a sentence because the phrase mark goes with the words, if you like. So here we go. So I'm also going to play the Streets of London for you as well while I have my hands in the same position. So these phrase marks are going from the beginning of each line to the end of each line. Again, they're working with the words. So if you'll notice, when I played I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing, when I was trying to differentiate between the 2 different phrase marks, I slightly lifted my hand off the notes before I played the next section, really just to distinguish between the 2 sections so that we could hear a difference between the sort of the sentences if you were singing it and also if you were playing it as well. And I also tried to do the same thing as well in Streets of London. I wouldn't worry an awful lot about phrase marking at this stage. These pieces are very simple, but as long as you understand phrase marks, later on when we come to more advanced pieces, then they will make a lot more sense and we'll be able to do a lot more with them. But as long as we just understand what the phrase marks are now. And also, if you can't remember, you've always got this book to go back to later on. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next 2 pieces in the book, which are Choral Symphony, theme from Choral Symphony, page 38, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang from the famous film, as we all know, page 39. Now the thing to have a look at in Choral Symphony is that we're now going to be introducing quavers. Now the book pretty well explains what quavers are, but on the top here you can see these are just the different types of quavers, or what they look like. So these are what they look like individually, so it's almost as if they're like our crotchets, our 1 beat notes, which are all these ones here. but they have sort of like a little flag if you want, or a little sort of another line coming out of the top of the stem. This is if you've got the stems going up, and this is if you've got the stems going down. The stems going up are just when they're lower down, when the notes are lower down on the stave, like these ones are, the stems always go up. When, trying to have a look on this one, when the notes are higher up on the stave, then the stems go down. There's no reason other than it just looks better. It just looks aesthetically clearer. If the note is higher, stems go down. If the note is lower, the stems go up. It just looks better and cleaner on the music. So if Quavers, if there's more than one in a row, then we beam them together. It's called beaming, or we connect them together. So it'll look like this. So stems going up, and if the stems are going down, it'll look like this. Also says at the bottom here that 2 Quavers are worth the same as 1 crotchet. Sorry, a crotchet is worth 1 beat, and each of these Quavers are worth half a beat each. So a half plus a half is going to equal 1. So that means that they are twice as fast. Quavers are going to be played as twice as fast as these notes here. So Quavers are faster notes. So how that works in here is, if you have a look at the bottom, we've got some counting underneath here. So I'm just trying to do it all backwards. So this D here comes on beat 1, as you can see underneath here. The next note comes on, this E here comes on beat 2, as it says underneath. The next one comes on, and they've put an and underneath that. I'll just explain that in a second. The other E comes on beat 3, and the C comes on beat 4. Now, because we need a count, or we need something to say on every single note, because this first E, it comes on beat 2, this one comes on beat 1, it has to, so it's the first note in the bar. This E comes on beat 2, because it has to. Now this one here, it does not come on beat 3, it can't, because it's not worth, because this one's not worth 1 beat, it's only worth half. So if you think a half plus a half is 1, these two together take up beat 2. Then the next E takes up beat 3, and then the C takes up beat 4. So if I put a 2 on this E here, I need something on the F, and that's just going to be an and. So with the counting for the bar, 4 beats in a bar, as it says at the beginning here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I was to clap there, it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. That bar is going to be played in this rhythm, 1, 2 and 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 would be your normal beats that we have been doing so far. If I was going to play that beat, I've still got to keep my 1, 2 and 3, 4 all coming at the same time. So they're in this rhythm. All I'm going to do now is put an and in between the claps. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. If I was going to play that for you, 1, 2 and 3, 4. I'll play that again. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So we can't go 1, 2 and 3, 4. That's not the correct rhythm, because that means that I've held every single note for 1 beat. But as you can see on the music, the E and the F, which come on 2 and, have got to be played a little bit faster. So I've got to fit the E and the F into beat 2. So I'm going to play them a bit faster. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So these Quavers are now adding a little complication to the mix here, aren't they? They're getting quite confusing. However, you've got the numbers and you've got the counting underneath, so follow that. That's really important. Whatever you do, when you're following the counting, don't go 1 and 2 and 3 and, because they're all going to be going at the same speed. Your 1, 2, 3, 4 has to be at a nice consistent speed. Because these Quavers are faster notes now, we're trying to fit 2 notes into 1 beat. When you have the ands, they're going to be coming in between your 1, 2 and 3, 4. So as I said before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So my 1, 2, 3, 4 is still going to be the same. So if I just played Chitty Chitty Bang Bang for you, maybe if I just play the first line, hopefully that should be enough to get you going on that one. Okay, so if you're all following on your music, I'll do the counting with it this time. It's probably a good idea that you still keep doing the counting at this point, just because we've introduced a new rhythm or faster notes, our quavers. So from the beginning of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, page 39. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll just go on to the second line just to give you a little bit more of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you'll all know, I'm not going to be playing it like this. This is from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That would actually be the wrong rhythm, because that means you're making those new quavers the same as crotchets, which are worth 1 beat. They're twice the speed, so it would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. It's actually starting to get quite complicated now, but again, just recap and go over the lessons, and the more you do of this, the better you'll get at this. Follow the counting underneath it as well, and do the counting as at the same time as playing, which you should have the hang of by now, and you should be okay with it. But just keep practicing. I've played it for you as well, so you can just rewind this video and watch me play it again so you can get the idea of the rhythm. So thanks very much for watching lesson 6. Join me again on lesson 7.